Democratic economic platform can be summed up as, it's unfair that some people have more money. We will redistribute that money to you. One would think that with a platform like that, everyone would vote Democrat. Everyone except some skeptics who ask, whose money are they going to redistribute? Mine? Obama reassured those nervous people. He said, the benefits I will give you all will not cost you more in taxes.
And I can make a firm pledge. Under my plan, no family making less than $250,000 a year will see any form of tax increase. Not your income tax, not your payroll tax, not your capital gains taxes, not any of your taxes.
Obama promised more affordable universal health care. Some Republican skeptics started to worry that might mean that they'd lose their doctors and wind up paying more for health insurance. Obama reassured America that was not the case.
If you've got health insurance, you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. Nobody is talking about taking that away from you.
This law will only make it more secure and more affordable.
It worked. Telling the American people that the majority of them will get goodies and not be taxed got their vote.
This day would ever happen. I won't have to worry about putting gas in my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage. You know, if I help him, he's going to help me.
After Obama was elected, Debbie Joseph, the woman you just heard speak, and those cheering crowds were disappointed. Joel Gilbert, in his movie There Is No Place Like Utopia, interviewed her. This is what she had to say.
Did Obama pay for your mortgage? And did he pay for your gas?
Absolutely not. Mortgage got worse and prices got higher.
Americans soon found out that Obamacare cost a lot more too. Here's a clip of employees of Simonetta's Collision and Repair Center in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, finding out their new costs. This was filmed by WTAE TV.
What I have here is the benefit sheet from last year, what you were on in 2013.
Charles Moore has handled the company's group health insurance for 19 years.
Here is the new plan that we had to switch to that takes into account the Obamacare regulation.
Last year's 6% premium increase has now exploded five-fold to an average 32% jump, and that is just for starters.
That 32% increase includes increasing the deductible as well to try and get something modestly priced.
Look at the numbers. Jeff and Dave used to have a $1,250 deductible. Since Obamacare went into effect, it's now jumped 60% to $2,000. That's nothing compared to Brian, Christy, and Judy, who have kids. They're going to pay twice that, $4,000. 53-year-old Judy, who gets hit the worst.
What's your increase?
From $929 to $1,316 a month.
That's a 42% increase added to her new $4,000 deductible.
How do you add all that together?
How are you going to do that?
I don't know. I don't know how President Obama thinks that he's helping us. Because we can't afford this. We can't afford to pay these copays, to pay these deductibles on what we're making.
The result of exorbitant deductibles is that the people who pay the most for Obamacare can't afford to go to the doctor. USA Today wrote how Holly Wilson of Denver, a woman who has congestive heart failure and high blood pressure, recently went without her blood pressure pills for 3 months because she couldn't afford them, given her $2,500 deductible. Her blood pressure shot so high, her doctor told her she risked a stroke. Larita Jacobs of Seminole, Florida, avoided dealing with an arthritis-related neck problem because of $7,500 of out-of-pocket costs until it got so bad she couldn't lift a fork. She's now putting off shoulder surgery. Many doctors contend it's only a matter of time before the middle class begins crowding ERs. They say putting off care can be dangerous and exponentially more costly.
Frankly, occasionally they just say, I'll just wait and see if things get worse.
Which he says goes against the whole idea of preventive care, supposedly one of the advantages of Obamacare, leaving many patients wondering what they're getting from it.
So they were coaxed into the Obamacare system. They're paying premiums over there, and now they're asking, well, what did I get for my premium?
They call it the Affordable Health Plan. There's nothing affordable about it. I can't afford it.
Obama knew this was going to happen. Jonathan Gruber, an economist who was a key architect of Obamacare, explained.
Until a second Massachusetts hero arose, John Kerry. And John Kerry said, no, we're going to tax your health insurance. We're going to tax those evil insurance companies. We're going to impose a tax that if they sell health insurance that's too expensive, we're going to tax them. And conveniently, the tax rate will happen to be the marginal tax rate under the income tax code. So basically, it's the same thing. We just tax the insurance companies. They pass it on higher prices. That offsets the tax break we get. It ends up being the same thing. It's a very clever, basic exploitation of the lack of economic understanding of the American voter.
Even though Obama knew costs were going to be passed down, he blamed American businesses when they were.
With support for the president's health care law sliding, the president starts blaming.
Employers may be shifting more costs through higher premiums or higher deductibles or higher copays. And so there may still be folks who are out there feeling increased costs, not because of the Affordable Care Act, but because those costs are being passed on to workers.
The head of a major business group slamming back at that comment, saying it's the president's law that's driving up prices. At a time when the economy desperately needs jobs to come back, is this any time for the president to be picking this fight? Hi, everyone. I'm Brenda Butner. This is Bulls and Bears. The Bulls and Bears this week. We've got Gary B. Smith, Tobin Smith, Jonas Max Ferris, John Layfield, along with Meredith Whitney. Welcome to everybody. John Layfield, the president putting the blame on employers. What say you?
I say this is typical of politicians. This has gone on since Andrew Jackson, FDR. They find the business owner to blame. It's the easiest thing in the world. You pass a law that is very unfavorable, and then you come in and you realize, hey, this is going to be free. It's not free. It's going to cost all of them. You have business owners out there saying, if we're having to pay an extra $5,000 per employee, if we have 30 employees, $150,000 is all we make per restaurant that we have. They simply cannot afford this. So what does the president do? He turns and blames small business owners that's create 50% of the jobs. This is insane, but it's typical politics.
Okay, Gary B., is it the small business owner? Is it the business owner? Or is it the Affordable Health Care law?
Well, it's the latter, Brenda. Look, I'm scratching my head on this one. He's saying, oh, okay, the reason you're feeling the pinch is because those bad employers, the only ones we have out there creating jobs, are passing the cost. Where does he think the costs would go if they weren't passed on? Do you think, would they somehow vanish? Oh, okay, we didn't pass them on to the employees, so there's no extra cost to Obamacare. Look, the CBO already came out and said that this Affordable Care Act is going to cost the country 800,000 jobs. But that was the original estimate. Now that Obamacare has doubled, we can only expect it's going to cost even more jobs, and the loss of the jobs are already starting to kick in as employers have their first goalpost, if you will, this coming January. So I think it's really going to hurt the economy.
When confronted with the adverse effects of Obamacare, Obama said, the typical premium is less than $100.
We reported yesterday that the office supply store Staples is, and this is an issue you've heard about before, is telling its workers that it'll fire them if they work more than 25 hours a week. A manager had told a worker we talked to that Obama is responsible for this policy, and they're putting these notices up on the wall of their break rooms saying that. Yeah. And I wonder what you'd say to the CEO of Staples, and Ronald Sargent, about that policy.
What I would say is that millions of people are benefiting from the Affordable Care Act. Satisfaction is high. The typical premium is less than $100.
Obamacare is hurting a lot more than the economy.
The table below shows that the deductible for a person whose income is $17,000 is zero. The deductible for a person earning over $29,000 a year is $2,000. Who is more likely to get a medical procedure done? Someone who has to pay a high deductible for it and a high percentage afterwards, or someone who doesn't have to pay anything for it? Obamacare hasn't just redistributed the cost of health care, it has also redistributed health care. Obamacare is just one of many wealth redistribution schemes that make it pay to not work.
Obama is also redistributing health care through rationing.
Then they're saying no mammograms after age 70. Virtually what they're saying here is we don't want to know if you've got breast cancer after 70. And so we'll see our mothers and our grandmothers showing up with late-stage metastatic disease that could have been picked up earlier, stage 1, and be treated. It's a travesty. They do it to save money. They're doing it because they're looking at other factors. It's the beginning of rationing. They're not looking at what's best for each individual patient. It's a complete philosophical shift from the way that we have practiced medicine as doctors practicing Hippocratic medicine to a kind of medicine where the government is looking at what's best for the collective society as a whole as opposed to what's best for the individual patient. They're not telling us the whole story, and they're changing the way that we practice care, and they're going to take us from having the longest survival rates and the earliest diagnosis way down the
Obama promised that Obamacare would not add to the deficit.
Finally, let me discuss an issue that is a great concern to me, to members of this chamber, and to the public. And that's how we pay for this plan. Now, here's what you need to know. First, I will not sign a plan that adds one dime to our deficits, either now or in the future.
According to the Congressional Budget Office, Obamacare will increase the deficit by over $1 trillion. So what are the lessons from Obamacare about wealth redistribution? Lesson 1. When a politician tells you that they are going to take from the rich and give to the poor, hold on to your wallet. Lesson 2. Democratic policies to help the poor make everyone poorer.
Do you like broken homes? Yes, we can. Do you like broken communities? Yes, we can. Do you like broken families? Yes, we can.
Everything in Chicago is controlled by the Democratic Party. Everything in my community is controlled by black Democrats. There is no Tea Party in my community. There is no Republicans in my community. So they can't blame Republicans. They can't blame Tea Parties.
The black community need jobs. We need them, we want them, and it's a matter of life and death to us.
It is more important in this community that they promote the liberal agenda than the black agenda. What about the black family? What about the American family? I tell you that the liberal agenda is not the black agenda. It is not the family agenda, and it's not the American agenda.